Hello, and welcome to 1111 Oracle. And I look forward to bringing you this video all about clairsentience. So this has been a little bit of a long time coming. I have started a series called, I guess, just Psychic Abilities. And we started off with the clairs, so just the generic clairvoyant, clairsentience, clairaudience, and claircognizance, and just to give us a good firm uh, foundation for talking about all of the other kinds of psychic abilities out there. But let's talk about clairsentience and what clairsentience is. Now, clairsentience is similar to being an empath, but not necessarily. When you're an empath, you're usually someone who can feel the energy vibration of others around you, not just necessarily humans. There are different kinds of empaths, and there are different levels of empathic ability, right? And you're feeling the emotional, the physical, the mental state of those around you. When it comes to clairsentience, you can have this as well, but clairsentience would be more specifically the way you receive your downloads and information. So you might be a very feeling-oriented person in your 3D world. You may be very sensitive to different kinds of tastes and foods and weather conditions. So when we talk about your psychic abilities, this would only be building upon your natural abilities that you have in the 3D. So if you are someone who's very physically oriented, where you're aware of your five senses to a more acute degree, then it's no surprise that when you're looking at your psychic abilities, the first one that you are really curious about taking a look at is clairsentience. So with clairsentience, you may feel like someone touching you, for instance, but there's no one around. Almost like a feather sensation, okay? You can feel, perhaps spirits touching you, or you feel a feather sensation, so perhaps this is from a more higher vibrational being, less of a denser being, would create a lighter sensation on your skin. All right, these would all be indications. These would all be confirmations, not necessarily. So of course, take what resonates. That you are clairsentient, and that clairsentience would be one of your greatest gifts. So I think when we talk about clairsentience, it's generally a more straightforward. There's generally a more straightforward understanding of what it is. You have to feel something energetically. You can feel it in a physical way, like having a feather sensation on your skin or something else, maybe a little stronger. But generally, that is what clairsentience is. Now, it's not only this, okay? So we're going to talk about a little bit clairsentience in terms of feeling, quote unquote, but not physically feeling. You may feel like something is off, and you get a sensation in your gut, or even just like you feel it, but you don't feel it physically, and you don't know how to explain how you feel it, which is you feel it. You feel something shifted, maybe an emotional state shifted. So you're like, I feel off, because all of a sudden I'm not 100% feeling content anymore, and now I feel a little bit paranoid or worried, okay? So you say, I feel off here. Or you go in a certain building, and perhaps this building is inhabited by ghosts, and you feel like hairs going up in the back of your neck, right? That could be an example. Or it could be that you're just feeling a little bit lightheaded, or you feel like your stomach is cramping up, or you just feel off. You don't feel like yourself, but you're not quite sure how to explain this. All of these would be good indications that you are clairsentient, okay? When you feel like something's off and it's not necessarily physical, you are probably getting a download through your psychic sense of clairsentience. All right, let me give you maybe some examples of how clairsentience has affected me in my life, so you can kind of get a better understanding of how it might affect you. Now, please remember that no two person is alike, especially when it comes to expressing your psychic abilities. So the way I express mine are not necessarily the way anyone else might, etc. Vice versa. Right. All right. So, clairsentience. An example. So, oftentimes I will get a feeling like someone touched me, but it's like a feathery sensation. Very, very light. I usually think that this is my spirit guide giving me confirmation. Maybe when I'm going through something difficult, they want to tell me that they're there, they're beside me, they haven't abandoned me, kind of thing. Or it can give me confirmation of something I was thinking about. But usually when I feel certain feelings physically, like a feeling of sensation of a feather or whatever, I usually understand this to be that they are around, and they are reassuring me that I'm not alone and that I have company. So, make sure that you remember that there are watching eyes. No, just joking. I don't want to freak you out. But yeah. So, yeah, I don't know how that works. Do they watch you all the time, or I hope not? But yeah, so clairsentience is very interesting, the way it works in terms of this touch. Right now, another example would be when I don't feel something physical, could be, all right, I'm walking down the street outside, and I turn a corner that I don't usually go down, and all of a sudden, without any logical backing, I quote unquote feel, I don't necessarily feel anything, but I feel on a subtle level uneasy. I feel emotionally uneasy. I feel like my stomach has tightened up. I feel a little bit like my blood pressure is not quite how it should be. You know what I mean? Like I just feel a little on edge. I would take that feeling and consider it as a warning not to go down a certain direction. Does that make sense? So we talk about clairsentience when we talk about listening to your gut, all right, following your instincts, that kind of thing. I mean, not necessarily following your instincts, but especially listening to your gut, right? To that feeling in your stomach that drops or expands, that squishes in or expands, depending on what the situation around you is. So those were a couple examples of clairsentience. For the end of this video, we're going to do a little bonus pick a card reading. All right. I'm going to have 3 options for you. Okay, let's get this out of the way so nobody's confused. Okay, so we have 3 options here. Okay, we have number 1, number 2, and number 3. Whoops. 3 is so far away. All right. Okay, you've chosen. The choice has been made. All right, let's start off with number 1. So number 1, I didn't really tell you what we're doing this pick card reading on, but you're still here, yay! So you can ask anything you want in terms of your clairsentient gifts, and I'm going to shuffle Brian Froud's Oracle deck with the fairies that he drew, and we are going to see what information comes through, what does Spirit want you to know about your clairsentient gift. So you can ask anything in relation to it, and we'll see if we answer your question in the cards. So let's see. Clairsentience. Okay. hearing not to take out too many cards for some reason. We have the Oakmen and Gotcha. Sometimes you feel very kind of like overwhelmed. There's so much energy that you feel around you. It's like you can't hide, you can't escape from it. And this kind of leaves you feeling a little bummed out. Like, you just can't hide. And you're certainly a very powerful empath, group number 1. So not only are you clairsentient, you are also an empath. So in the future, I will have a video on empaths. In the meantime, you can take a look at it. There's a lot of information out there about empaths. Take only what resonates with you. But yeah, there are certainly some of you are heyoka empaths, like you just feel like you're always triggering other people around you. If you're not familiar with heyoka, look up Heyokaah. This is a term that I don't know which tribe of First Nations peoples it belongs to, but it would refer to being a divine clown. So you are the person who presents, you're like that mirror where you present people all of their flaws and insecurities, and they kind of project those back at you, since you're like bringing it out in the open just in the way you act or things you say. And then you didn't necessarily deserve it. What people are doing is they're projecting their negativity onto you because they can't handle that you've exposed them to a certain degree. And they're just getting rid of it right back on you. No, that's not mine, that's yours, right? This is where a lot of the toxic energy vampires come in, and they're so insecure with themselves, they try to trick you into believing that you're like that, and this horrible domino effect. It's really just awful. But yeah, you are someone who is a very advanced type of soul, very heightened empath. You're not necessarily a heyoka if it doesn't resonate with you, but I'm getting, if anything, most of you are in this group. You definitely feel like you just can't get away from others, and sometimes you need to hide because it's like your energy is everywhere. You have a very big aura, and then people feel it when you're around. They feel the different feelings that you're feeling. So it's like no matter what you do, unless you're on an island by yourself, you're going to affect others around you. And even on the island, you're going to affect the trees and nature. It's like, oh my God, you just can't hide. So what Spirit wants you to do is to take a break. Spirit wants you to connect to your favorite tree, or go outside if you can, or have some plants inside. I know I advocate for that a lot, but I feel like that's one of my important messages to you through my channel. Spend time with nature. Spend time with nature. Say this as a mantra to yourself. Must spend time with nature, or like something that you don't forget, because especially with this group, you're gonna really need to recharge your energy. And being such a powerful empath that you are, being so sensitive to different kinds of feelings and vibrations in the air, you're going to naturally feel more in tune and more aligned with the healing vibrations of the earth. All right, if you sit next to a tree, it's different than sitting next to a human being, because a tree is just very silent. It's very still in that sense, and what we understand to be silent and still. Of course, trees, all living things, move at different rates, maybe a very, very slow rate in nature, but they move. They're not completely, standing there as we think they are. But if you really slow, what connecting with nature will do is it will help you slow down your own energy vibration, align with these slower moving energy beings. And when you slow down your energy, you're also going to be open to receiving the wisdom from nature, so that you can feel more reassured. But you see how it works? In order to receive that wisdom and that healing, you need to slow down. That's why spending time in nature is very important. If you go too fast, you're going to miss those messages coming through. Maybe you are. Maybe Spirit is giving you a sign. And you say, give me a sign. I need a sign. Tell me I'm okay. Tell me everything's okay. And Spirit has been giving you those signs, but you haven't been paying attention to them because you've been going too fast. So now if you slow down, all of a sudden, you won't be able to ignore it. Ignore the message coming through, because you'll be moving slow enough to be able to pay attention to it. Remember that nature is very slow moving, but it's not dumb. It is watching your every move, very attentive. Nature has a lot of time to sit and observe. So become like nature, become like the tree. Relax your energy, observe, and a lot of things are going to fall into place once you start observing yourself and others. I hope you enjoyed that reading, and I look forward to reading for you in another video. Okay, number 2. Let's see number 2. Number 2, when I shuffle the cards, think of a question in relation to your clairsentient ability, and let's see what comes up and see if it resonates with you. So what is your question? Go ahead and ask. You know, it'd be easier if it's an open-ended question, of course, but, you know, anything goes. See what resonates. Okay, number 2. All right. Number 2, you have Luafas, the wild. Very odd names in this deck. And you have the green woman. I love that card, the green woman. It always reminds me of me and my dog hanging out for some reason. Perhaps you have a pet. If you do, your pet is sending you messages through your clairsentient ability. So when you feel a certain thing, you feel a certain vibration, when you have some certain feeling, whether physical or not, and it comes through to you, you may want to pay attention to the translation of that feeling, quote unquote. And how do you translate it? Ask Spirit to help you with this. You can do this in your mind, you can do this in writing, and see what comes up. See what first thing comes to your mind when you ask to translate the message of the feeling of your clairsentient gift coming through. Okay, so you are a very interesting person. You're very sensual. You like to move around. You like to get your hands dirty. You like to, you know, maybe you're thinking about getting your hands dirty and, you know, planting and gardening or something. You are as physically oriented as a person you are. Spirit speaks through your senses as well. You have this beautiful immersive energy where you just really sink into the energy of the earth, and you become the earth, and you become the trees, and you become nature around you. You're very connected to nature in that way. You're very connected to the wildlife around you, to the animals around you. And so pay attention to those extrasensory sensations that come through. You're not going crazy. You are feeling this energy. The more in tune you are with your 5 senses, the slower you get, you know, and moving around and enjoying your day and being in the moment, the more in tune you are going to be with a higher vibrational energy as well. And that higher vibrational energy, or higher vibrational energies, are going to translate themselves to you through feeling. You know, you feel a certain tickle on your arm when you pass a certain plant every time. And you may notice, what does this plant want? It's trying to get my attention. Oh, I see the soil is dry. I need to water it. So use these feelings to call your attention. Maybe they're signals. Maybe they're trying to say, hey, stop. Hey, watch out. Hey, notice me. And pay attention to when you get those feelings, those sensations, whether emotional or physical. Stop and see what's going on that needs your attention, that needs your care, that needs your touch in that moment. Could just be that maybe a plant wants you to sing to it because you haven't been really focused on your day-to-day, and by singing to the plant, you're going to get to be more present and mindful as well, and be able to take a break. Your plants care for you too. They are like your pets. They spend a certain number of hours with you. They're very aware of your energy, so you become part of their family. Don't forget that. They try to catch your attention in order for you to relax and be in the moment as well. Okay, let's look at number 3. Number 3, let's see. I want you to ask a question that has to do with your clairsentience abilities, and we'll see what comes forth. So, number 3. Number 3. Really interesting. Number 3, I get 3 cards. I get, forgive me, the names are a little strange sounding. Luathus the Wild. Laced Moon's Daughter. There was a full moon on Sunday, March 28th. Something important happened to you around that time. Maybe that's a specific message for some of you. And we have the Sage. So you're certainly a very old soul. You definitely are being guided to watch my Witch Shaman Healer video if you haven't checked it out already, or the Are You From the Fairy Realm video, because I have a mixed bag of some people being elementals here, some people just being more like wise old souls. So you are the wise old souls. You're a little wild, you're a little different, you're a little eccentric, you're a little off the beaten path. And, you feel things, you feel vibes, you feel the good vibes of a place, you feel the bad vibes of a place. If your friends are around you or other people around you and they're trying to convince you that something is fine or a person is fine, but you feel differently, you don't know how to describe what you're feeling, and everyone's like, you're crazy, there you go again, you're just feeling things, what are you talking about? There's nothing, that doesn't make any sense. Trust your feeling. Trust your feelings because they are correct. Especially when you get that, that really strong feeling you get when you go to a certain place and you get that like guttural feeling of like, ooh, I don't like this, or especially if it's accompanied by a stomach ache or a headache. Definitely pay attention to those feelings because they are always right. And the only reason that they are growing into stomach aches or headaches is because you are maybe doubting yourself and ignoring the initial subtle feeling. So the feeling only grows to catch your attention. You see how our bodies work that way sometimes? Same thing happens when we are sick. Sometimes if we ignore certain ailments that we have, they only get worse over time because it's your body's way of basically saying, well, I mean, there's a bunch of reasons why they grow over time, but, one of the metaphysical reasons would be your body is trying to tell you to pay attention to a certain area of your life, right? Hey, pay attention, you keep ignoring me, I guess I'm gonna have to get worse, so you pay attention to me more. Right? So speaking of being sick and all of that, you may be a shaman. This comes up a lot with you guys. There's definitely some really cool energy that I've attracted to my channel, and I'm super grateful for it. I feel very blessed that you guys do like and watch my videos because I do have some very powerful healer type of energy, someone very, very in tune with the cycles of the earth, the cycles of the moon, very in tune with the stars, the water, the elements, the fairy beings, the old ancient arts of Druidism or paganism. Something about you that's very earthy and old. You're an old soul, and I love it so much. I love your energy. I love the realm of the wise ones, so to speak, right within the Earth Angel theory. Don't get caught up on the words and whatever, but yeah, I love how you guys have this old, wise, knowledgeable energy to you, and yet you're the healers. You have undergone some of the most difficult pain, and yet you've bounced up, and here you are, and you continue to heal others instead of letting it eat away at your soul and become bitter. You have only allowed those trials and tribulations to empower you to be an even powerful healer today. And if you're not at that phase yet, know that you will get there, and it's your choice. You only have to accept the path. Accept the path of the healer, that it is not always easy or fair. Same goes for any path in life that you walk, but to be a healer, to be a shaman, there are certain challenges that you have to face, and don't worry about those, because you are well equipped to face them. You've done this before in past lifetimes. This is not, your first rodeo. You have definitely experienced many lifetimes of being a healer, and you have worked with some very, very advanced souls who are now your spirit guides. So coming back to clairsentience, when you feel sort of a breeze on your face, or all of a sudden it's like the atmosphere changes, something feels different, but it's so subtle you're not quite sure if you're clairsentient or not, because it's more of like a subtle feeling that you can't describe, like a shift in atmosphere, or a light breeze on your face or through your hair, or something like almost like a light touch on you, or a light sensation within your stomach or your head. Something very light changes around you. Don't be fooled. It doesn't mean that just because something is light that you're not a powerful clairsentient. I'm thinking for this group, what I feel is, for the most part, your abilities are much more, they're varied. You have stronger abilities perhaps in some of the other clairs, like maybe you're very claircognizant, clairvoyant, or clairaudient. Getting a lot of claircognizance and interestingly, I was going to say clairvoyant, but clairaudience keeps coming through. So more clairvoyance and clairaudience in this group than clairsentience. And clairvoyance, but you certainly have those who are clairvoyant or very powerfully clairvoyant. Those of you who are clairsentients, this is something that is more of a light gift. It manifests itself in sort of these light variations in atmosphere. That's fine. That's just because Spirit prefers to communicate to you in other ways that it finds more effective based on the kind of person that you are and what you tend to focus on. This is, if you want to develop your clairsentience abilities, you certainly can, but does not make you a lesser psychic in any way that your clairsentient ability is not your strongest. But you definitely have certain sensations and feelings that you experience on a daily basis. Pay attention to those. It's almost better that they're subtle, because it'll force you to be that much more perceptive, patient, and observant of these very subtle changes. And by being super patient, observant, and noticing the subtle changes, you'll also notice a lot more energy coming through. Spirit is going to take advantage of this time where you're just kind of paying attention to the subtle changes by passing through information to you. Like I said, a lot of claircognizant people, once you do get those downloads, woof, it is strong, and you just know things, you don't know how you know them. All right? So your clairsentient ability is more like a gateway or a gatekeeper to allow you to pause, to pay attention, so that all your other gifts can come shining through. I don't know what that sound was, but it's just me being excited about your energy, and I hope you like the reading, and I look forward to reading for you in a future video.